Welcome, Fred Blanchard. How are you today?
I'm good, Shawn. How are you?
Oh, Fred, I have no complaints, man. None at
Awesome.
all.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor and a privilege.
Oh yeah, thank you for joining us today. Really
Yeah.
appreciate that. And so, Fred, this is lending with purpose. These are conversations that we have with clients and friends. Intros to various forms of information and professionals like yourself, Fred. Resources that we use, we look for, never knew existed, or wanted to learn more about. And so, Fred, I generally start with a story or like a did you know or something like that. And so I don't have much of a did you know today. We'll probably get into some of that today. But as I was telling you before we got started, earlier today, it was pretty cool because I got a chance to go to and do a broker's open. And so, for anybody that doesn't know what a broker's open is it's like an open house. So an open house for real estate is when someone puts a house up for sale. The agents or the realtors that are selling that home or the homeowners, they open it up for people to just come in and just look at it, and it's free, and people come in and look. Well, brokers open, they do the same thing, and they open it up for other realtors to come and preview that property for buyers that might be wanting to buy the specific property. And so I was there which has been really cool to kind of get out. Um, I guess they're saying we got a lot of extra time, so anyway, I feel like it's important for us to remain active and stay out. And so I went to the Brokers Open today, and it was fun because there was two realtors that I've been working with, and our company have been working with Fred since throughout the pandemic. One of them I've known for a long time, and it's crazy because I haven't seen him since the beginning of the pandemic. Which was what 2020. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, what is that? Is that almost 4 years ago now?
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
3 years, right? Three.
4 years. I'm
Wow.
not that
Wow.
smart. I tell everybody we use calculators, so I don't need
That's
to really
right.
know math that well. And so we did a bunch of content, uh, Fred, and just recording and stuff like that. And so it was just really cool to see them. And so based on kind of the stuff that we're going to be talking about today, loan officers and lending and such, I thought it was a sort of a fitting story to kind of talk about. For at least for me, it just brought joy to my heart that I got a chance to see them and kind of getting a chance to get reconnected with people. And so at some point, when I come to see you at the end of this month or next month, we'll have to do this again, but we'll do it face to face. So that was the moral of my story, really, is like we got to get face to face and do this. But
Absolutely. It's important.
yeah, yeah, but welcome today, and shout out to Deidre Stubbs and Joie Ashworth, the two agents that I saw today. Will get that content on the internet, and it was a lot of fun seeing them. So, Fred, you're going to do a much better job at introducing yourself. So, you tell us who you are, what you do, and then we'll get into the conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. So, my name's Fred Blanchard. I'm a loan officer at Fortis Mortgage. I live in North Carolina, right outside of Raleigh. So we just opened our branch down in Raleigh. So I'll be spearheading that down here. Been in the business about 11 years. Just came over to Fortis in July of this year. So I was at my previous company for about 10 years in many different roles. Started off as a processor, went in as an assistant, and then ultimately a loan officer. But I moved down to North Carolina right about 2 weeks before really everything got shut down before the pandemic. So beginning of 2020, wife and I were just looking for a change for our family, kind of get out of the hustle and bustle, be able to step back and just kind of enjoy each other. And we've really found that, thus far in Raleigh. So we're loving it down here.
Yeah, Raleigh's a nice town.
Yeah.
Um,
Awesome.
yeah, good for you. I admire that. I won't say envious because I don't want people to think I'm jealous of you, but I actually do kind of envy the fact that you're there. It's a really
It is.
cool town.
It is
But
cool. Very
like,
cool.
talk to me about that though, Fred. Like, so you and your wife, you decided to move from Northern Virginia. Lot going on in the area. I live in the DC area, myself, and so and then you went down to Raleigh, and you
Yep.
said 2 weeks later uh, there was a shutdown, right? There was a national or
Lockdown,
world health
basically. Right.
crisis,
Yeah.
and so like, what was that like?
So that was kind of tough. I mean, coming to a brand new area, not really knowing too many people. We knew some friends that were down here that kind of, you know, we would come down to visit and they kind of urged us to move down here. So we had those connections, but both of us working remote. I kept my job from Northern Virginia. My wife did as well. So that was tough. It was a tough transition to be working from home and then not really being able to meet people. But once things started to open back up, we were really able to get out and meet people, meet a lot of friends, a lot of good connections that have really, been able to create some really good friendships down here.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And golf, how's your golf game?
Golf game's okay. I just got a new club, so I'm trying to get those worked in. But golf is actually a big reason that I've met a lot of people down here because
Hmm.
that was one of the things that stayed open during the pandemic, right? All the stores, restaurants, bars, stuff like that were all closed down, but golf courses pretty much remained open. So that was a good avenue to get out and get time on the golf course, think about things, kind of get out there and meet people. And that's really a lot of the connections I've made down here through playing golf.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And so, Fred, you were throughout your career, much of it you were a part of a team. Is that right?
Correct. Yes, sir.
And you are assisting a senior loan officer. And so, um, kind of what gave you the confidence to say, "Hey, listen, I'm going to go out and do this and be on my own." Like, what
Yeah.
were your thoughts around that? Because that's kind of daunting and scary, And so, like, what's your thought? And it probably still is scary, but like,
Right.
what was your thought process around that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said, I was with my previous company about 10 years, um, assisting that team for about 8 of them. I just feel like I learned so much, was doing a lot of the upfront stuff, a lot of the client relations, meeting with agents, keeping relationships going. And I just figured I'd have a lot more flexibility, able to run things kind of the way that I wanted to run things and just kind of take that on my own and go out and see how I can do for myself.
And so, how so far? And these are like, ladies and gentlemen, not Fortis Mortgage specific, but Fred did transition from a retail organization, so a company that is direct lending, and he came over to the wholesale side, which is a mortgage broker, in which we're responsible for having access to dozens of lenders that we have access to and work with to provide the best solutions and options for the client, for the end user. And so um, I'm asking these questions to you, Fred, because I think people need to hear about it. There's going to be folks that are making these types of transitions or wondering if they should or can, and you've been able to successfully do that. Like, what has would you like about the opportunity to work with us at Fortis? Number one, and then number two, what's the transition been like
Yeah,
going
so
from that?
I've loved the opportunity so far, and I'm very grateful for it. In terms of the broker side, I just feel like there's a lot more flexibility. Like you mentioned, we work with dozens of different lenders. Um, we are able to shop on behalf of our clients, and we're really able to choose which lenders are going to fit that client's needs best. And then in terms of rates, I've noticed, in the 6 months I've been here that we have great rates. I mean, rates are low, lower on our end than what you might see from a bank or on the retail side. So we're really able to kind of have a leg up on the competition there and really get our clients the best terms. And then, like you said, with the different lenders, instead of having one lock desk, one compliance, one underwriting help, we have so many people at our disposal that we can reach out to, so we can get answers to questions super quickly, which is great.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Like, what's been like? You got a favorite story or a story about like how you've been able to do that? Because like me, I coach the team. It's like, all right, you come to me or you use someone within the team, but like we have dozens of teammates out there, and I talk to people about that too as well. Because lots of times when I was competing in the space um, against a broker, we would say something like they don't have control, we would say something like, really the biggest thing that we would say is they didn't have control. And
Right.
so now I tell people like I have the most control because we have so many different partners
Right.
that it doesn't stop with one. So you had a scenario yesterday where it's like, hey Shawn, I talked to three different lenders. I got a different story from all three of them, right?
Yep.
And I think that's a good problem to have
It is.
because if you're in the retail space, you get a no, then that's it. And then
That's
you
it.
have to
You're done.
send it to someone outside your company, and then they
Exactly.
take care of it. In this particular situation, we're now able to go to all three of those lenders
Mhm.
and say, all right, I know you're saying one thing versus the other. I'm getting conflicting information, but I want to be sure. So tell me what it's like, and they'll actually take the time to look at that deal, for us to help that particular family. So like so far, do you have a story, or I kind of probably took your story away from you, but do you have something like that that you could tell us about that's kind of been a win for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Just with all of our lenders, they're all great. All the account representatives we have are on the ball, and at the end of the day, they're all competing for our business, right? So they want to get us the quickest answer. They want to make sure that when we get that deal, that deal goes to them. So they're going to do everything in their power to make sure that we succeed, we get the right answers, and ultimately we get the deal in the end. So we have a few of the AEs that are kind of my go-tos. I reach out to all of them and talk to them all the time, but like in the scenario you mentioned yesterday, a couple of them said, why don't you submit the file for a TBD underwrite? So they're actually going to underwrite the file with a TBD address, but based on the income, based on the assets, based on the debts and liabilities, so that we're going to have that when that client goes out to find a home, the deal's pretty much done. It's going to come down to an appraisal and dotting some I's and crossing some T's. But we have that kind of at our disposal where we can already know if a loan is good to go before a client even goes under contract, which is great.
And what are your thoughts about like being a broker in North Carolina? Do you think there's a benefit of doing it that way?
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely. I would definitely say so. So Raleigh, very competitive market down here, especially the last couple of years, which it has been throughout most of the country. But Raleigh's really growing. A lot of people in tech and pharmaceuticals, and a lot of newer agents down here. So it's going to be great to have that at our disposal. It's a great way to get in front of the agents, to say, hey, just because you might have a lender that says they can't do it, but we have 15 different lenders or 20 different lenders that we can run it by, and we might be able to get something done. And then in terms of the rates as well, kind of like we discussed earlier, we have access to some of the best rates around. So that's definitely going to be helpful, getting everything off the ground down here, and just getting clients the best terms possible. And Shawn, it's a referral business, right? And relationship. So when you have one client that's happy and says, oh, Fortis crushed it on the rate. I was reaching out to, ABC Bank, and they were giving me a rate that was 0.25% higher. They're going to tell their friends about that and their family, and that's just going to get us more referrals and leads in.
yeah,
So more
absolutely.
people we can help out. So
Yeah, one of the things I was, worried about when we started was is being able to compete like in regards to like service and technology and stuff like that. But they made so much of that available
yeah,
to us these days, and so now it's good to hear you say that. Um, in regards to Fred, tell us more about how you got started. Though. I want to kind of hear about that story, like
yeah,
how you got into the business.
absolutely. So I graduated from James Madison University in 2012. So I had no background in finance, no background in business, economics, anything like that. I was a political science major and a history minor. Coming out in 2012, it was kind of tough to get a job in the government. That's kind of what I was leaning towards. And didn't have much success getting any interviews lined up. It was just tough at that time. So I kind of reached out to a staffing firm, and they said, hey, we have a mortgage company in Fairfax, Virginia, that's looking to bring somebody on. Just basically a body to come in. 2012, big refi boom when I started, very busy. So I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'll absolutely go interview. They took a chance on me because I had no background, and I took a chance on them and was like, you know what? Yeah, let's give it a go and see what comes of it. So I was really doing all kinds of stuff when I first started, anything I could do to help. So the first year, year and a half, and I'm very grateful for this, I was actually in a processing role. And I feel like as a processor, going back and forth with the underwriters, really understanding calculating income, what all is needed once the loan gets past the pre-approval and contract phase, that's helped me greatly in my career, just in knowing and being able to anticipate what an underwriter is going to ask for. So that was super helpful. And then I got into being an LOA, loan officer assistant. And I did that for probably 6 or so years, and worked on two big teams, and you know them, Shawn, two of the bigger teams in the DC market. And that was, I learned a ton there as well. And we were kind of talking about this the other day. There's really not any market or loans out there, or loan types or scenarios that I really haven't seen, just because I was working in different roles on different teams, working with different clients in different areas. I've seen a lot out there. And then the last couple years at my previous company really got more into the loan officer side of things, a lot more handling the pre-approvals, like I said earlier, building relationships with the agents, maintaining those, keeping them going, giving updates throughout the process. And then that led me to this summer making the jump over to Fortis, and loved it so far.
And we reconnected here on LinkedIn.
We did on LinkedIn, yes sir.
It's crazy because I think
Yeah.
I saw you. I don't know, you posted something, or maybe you reached out to me to say what's up. I can't remember. Forgot how it went. And
Yeah,
then we
totally
connected, and
random. Yeah,
yeah, one thing led to the other, and it's been really cool. And I'm excited for you, man. You're gonna do really well, and
thank you.
just excited for the growth. Um, what um Tell us a couple things, two things. Tell us about your first loan that you did with us. Um,
Sure.
because I know lots of times you go to a new company or you start something different and you're nervous. You're like, I want
Yeah,
to whatever. Tell us about the first loan that closed with Fortis Mortgage.
absolutely. So the first loan I did actually was for a friend who's also a realtor. So that was pretty cool to be able to help him out, and also help him on the real estate side as well, on my first transaction. But it was great. I mean, the process was super smooth. We have an absolute rock star of a processor in Karen. Um, I was used to doing a lot more on the file than I have to do it for us, because Karen does so much and picks it up and really lets us focus on our job, which is bringing in new clients, making new relationships. So that was a very pleasant surprise for me to see how much she kind of takes over and gets it across the finish line, which was great. But yeah, the loan went well, got it closed, nice size loan amount too, which never hurts. So it was great. It was and every loan I've had since then has been great as well. I mean, and all my loans aren't going just to one lender. I'm able to kind of space them out and see, really based on that client, which lender is going to fit them and their profile best, which is great.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And so during this time right now, people keep talking about this market, right? But anyone that's looking to buy a home,
Mhm.
um, or start with a mortgage loan, what do you what advice do you give them right now? Like, what are you talking to them about? And like, what's your message to the audience about purchasing a home right now at this point?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the big thing obviously has been in the news for the last 6-7 months is rates, right? Rates are up. Rates were never going to stay that low forever. But in terms of the sales prices and stuff, we saw this the last couple of years. People were paying over ask. There were escalations, waiving inspections, waiving contingencies. And now I feel like the prices have started to stabilize and normalize a little bit. So while rates might be a little higher, people are getting homes for less than they would have, 6 months, a year, 2 years ago. So I keep telling them, rates are higher now, but what goes up must come down, right? So if you find a home that you like and it's at a price point that you're comfortable with, I wouldn't be totally fixated on the interest rate. Rates are going to come down, and if you qualify, for that home and that product and the rate and everything now, chances are in the next year or two, rates are probably going to come down and you'll be able to refinance. So I tell people, if you find a home you love, don't miss out on it over the interest rate. is one of the things. And then another thing, and we talk about this all the time in our sales meetings, Shawn, people need to be curious, ask questions, make sure you're fully understanding. That's one of the, I love working with first time home buyers because they may not have a ton of, knowledge on the home buying process. So I love being able to explain that, from start to finish, what it's going to be like, going over numbers. So I just recommend that people be curious, ask questions. If you're not 100% comfortable with something or don't understand it, ask your loan officer to explain it in greater detail.
That's great. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. So Fred, like, how can we help you? Like, what can we do to help you?
Yeah, absolutely. If anyone out there knows, if there's obviously anything I can do to help you guys on the mortgage side, or if you have any relationships, any realtors, really anyone, it's all about relationships. So it doesn't have to be a realtor or title company, anything like that. Anyone out there that you think I may be able to assist, or that we might be able to be an asset to, or a resource, just to ask questions. I would love pass along my information, or send me over their information, just so we can talk and connect.
Nice. And you're where you licensed?
Yeah, so I'm licensed in pretty much from Florida up to Maryland. So Maryland, DC, Virginia, North and South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. So 7 states.
Nice, nice, nice. And what was the other question I had? I just drew a blank. Oh, how can we connect with you? That's the most important thing. We can't help you if we don't know how to connect with you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So my email is fred@fortismortgage.com. My cell phone is 703-470-3606. And then I'm on LinkedIn as well. Frederick Blanchard on there, a little formal on there, but you can
This
find me
was
that way.
it's a great conversation, short and sweet. Just like you're pretty succinct, Fred. Good stuff, man.
Absolutely.
You can fill in for me. Uh, anytime you like, you can fill in for me. So I just popped your we popped your email up there. We'll put your phone number up there in a second.
Awesome.
But you ready for this question, Fred?
I'm ready.
All right. So you got one person. You get one question. Who would it be? What would you ask?
Okay, so I thought about this one for a while, probably a couple hours to be honest with you. So you know that I'm a big sports fan, big sports guy. I love all sports, basketball, baseball, football, hockey. I watch them all. Golf. So I thought through it. I was like, you got Tiger Woods, Tom Brady, Michael Jordan. Really the greatest in their respective sports. And I was going through it, but one person really jumped out to me, and that would be Jackie Robinson. So, big fan of Jackie Robinson. I don't know if you've seen the movie 42.
Yeah.
One of my favorite movies, just a great movie. Anyone out there that hasn't seen it, I would definitely recommend it. But just his overall story, and everything he went through. So in college, he was a four sport athlete, lettered in all four, which is unheard of these days, right? You might hear of people playing, it might be a pitcher and a quarterback, but he played baseball, basketball, football, and ran track.
Yep.
And then after that, he was in the military for a little while. And then before starting his baseball career. So he had a lot of adversity and a lot to overcome, right? Segregation was still going on then. And just everything he went through and just the way he went about it, not confrontational, non-violence. He didn't believe in any of that. He just let it roll off his shoulders. And I just admire that. And then that's not even to mention what he accomplished. So World Series champion, National League MVP, Rookie of the Year, Hall of Famer. I mean, the list goes on and on. But my question to him would be, with all the adversity and everything that he faced, how did he have the courage, the tenacity, the drive to keep going?
Mm,
Because all the cards were stacked against him, right? He could have easily said, you know what? I'm receiving death threats. I'm not doing this. But he didn't care. He just powered through it and became not only a Hall of Famer as a baseball player, but a Hall of Famer as a person, and really changed the landscape of sports forever, which I think is great. So that's what I was
absolutely.
thinking, just to see how he was able to do it, because I don't think I would have been able to.
Yeah, that's tough. He did go through a lot. I just gotta
Mhm.
chill, man. That was we haven't had Jackie Robinson in regards to anybody wanting to ask him a question. My one of my favorite pictures. It might be my favorite, Fred. And I have it framed. Actually, I should put it in here. but it's downstairs, is him stealing home base,
Yep.
stealing home and sliding
Yep.
in.
Yep.
Like that's such a great picture,
It
man.
is. I know the exact picture you're talking about.
First time anybody's ever really, I think from what I know,
Yeah.
that did that. And I look at that picture all the time. It's got, you can look at it and get so many different meanings from it.
Yep.
But yeah, Jackie Robinson, that's cool. And that's a great question too. You
Absolutely.
would you do it like because you're a baseball person?
Yeah.
Would you have him hit some balls to you? Would you play second base? I think you said.
Second base. Yep. Second
Yeah.
base.
Would
Yeah.
you
So
have
he
him
played
do some
second.
infield?
Yeah, he played second base as well. I think he started off as a shortstop, went to first.
Yeah.
I think he ultimately ended up as a second baseman. But yeah, that'd be really cool.
Just imagine
Definitely.
him hitting you some balls,
Yeah.
and you're fielding and throwing them back, and y'all are talking about this stuff. That would have been
Yeah.
great.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's awesome. Well, that's it, man. I really appreciate you taking the time out to speak with us today. I know you're busy, and I'll let you get back to building your empire down there and in Raleigh, North Carolina. But Fred, it just like I always say, it would be such a shame for me and us to have resources like yourself and not share them with the community and with the world. And so yeah, I really appreciate you
Absolutely.
today.
Mm.
Everyone, if there's anything that I can do, we can do to help you in any way, please don't hesitate to reach out. Stay as safe and as healthy as you possibly can. And, next week we'll be back with a new person. But, round of applause for Fred Blanchard. And Fred, thanks for your time today.
Thank you, Shawn. I really appreciate you having me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I'll see you in a bit.
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right, Shawn. Take care,
All right.
buddy.
Bye bye.